Hello. I think we should be good to go now. Yo, assalamu alaikum badi mulu. Assalamu alaikum atol men be jibero la sainten kal tentu kal jay. Kafali ko la baraka bake. Ñu lok mo kono binala la ba watol be soro rende follow. So binala la furkana ka political discussion o ka kacha jam. Ko men yalan ko wolel be na political la furkana jam ka kacha. Woto atol men yalan kal be jibero la sainten. I'll say program share ay bajela ko besina kuwol ke nyola nyakacha be tenturo kala bage be jairo kala anin ka kontrondro ñu follow ka ala tentu follow ni wo bata je kan parti wala nyaton ko konton banketa president Davoti anin ala entire executive ke be tentu ke be jay na UDP diaspora executive level kamol be tentu kamol be jay na militant soul kamol be tentu kamol be jay but special tentu ne jairo mbaki la na campaign manager kan aning ala deputy aning na organizing secretary ibe document na kaji ko ka molu kafuna pati okan ibe document na mashallah alhamdulillah abe de funtla no banda bari membe kere ndro wala muko UGP be win kanne and 2026 monna samolati falimu be ke kan bakele falimu ke dalo already but falimu be ke kan ne bake aka metandi wala mu Gambia patatale Gambia dimul patatale banko sulata burukendola memmanke Adama barola banko buloti wode wo kontano wata bakem fe be ala tentula mba jayi la fu wasatenten wati tumo me yalon ko be nyatlin kan katre fayola ne wo bata yemba de wolo ala ngadum ka ciakon nga men sambana wala muko Adama baro Gambia de wolo nyanna la ngakuntu anyato dalilo me asabu nyanna ka kuntu Adama baro nyato wo manyanna kala moy kumpati bankola tanya wala asabu ko molu nyanna le ngalo ka Adama baro ngaje ko ngambulo nyang kampamo warende nda nyatli wala nyin kamala ko akana tetenno abe silo menka al hakilo ba kanne ko musole be mutaring Adama baro la masakunda kono Gambia musuke balu men yalon ko siol be sanjita woro wala anen feng sanjita woro anen feng Adama baro la masakunda inata kupita wolal kan ye muta ye samba mile 2 ila kitio be kering hanisa en kitio mambam folo be diamula wolal la fanala bi ye muta mun dalil la kama anila muto mune be sababu ringala anin mune asabun Adama la masakunda ilafita kanyem musolta ke mantora hannin ayatara nunko yawol ares dalilo men kan ye nyapinkan dalilo men kan ke samba mile 2 hannin ayatara nunko Gambia dimo jamabe lafring kaje ko yawol arrest daji ko men kan Gambia dimo jamabe lafring wo kuwalla ila banko nyinka jama kan benta wala yengan simbal arrest Gambia banko kan sign ay karinano si ibe mile 2 prison o kono nyalla alpha be tembo mento Adama la masakunda ye mutakatum iko yedini wala samba somnoto iko Gambia de kadini wala samba somnoto musolu alama alay na atunye wo botale eka botale ya banne wala sabu nyengan simbalo men yalo ko wala yedini wala samba somnoto ye muta ebe Adama la masakunda bulo kono fombe yalon ko asiara karinano ti wala be karinano bayndi kan sai ye samba mile 2 prison ni boda kitiola ise samba mile 2 ye muronde nge ila alfabe tembo mento bi e control la banko kan mo dina mo lalti banko jama banko mo jama moli be sonde nyen nako sunno fenno me yalon ko anyanna kelale ani atra nun ko opinion ol fatata anyanna kela nyaadi la some of us believe ko for say some kind of training na bajala ko say process ni muta ya control ya guard but moli be la frembenna mamira ajarsa pour adama la masakunda simply because of donation o benkane kam ka kodo medila pour ka jeko ka sunna to tanyin ka muta ka bonding na culture nyi to na ado nyi to hanan ayatra nunko mo jama membe gambia mulbe la fre nyi la ko mungo na sunna to tanyin na tenten kake ni yenye samba referendum wala gambia banko ka nyimbanta mo keme ko tamako mota woro be ba fulal ko sunno mo adolati andung abe dinolo kono woto mulbe lafre nyennal ko mungo ay tenten hanni ayatra nungo kenya tumando wasa control no ban ye samba some kinds of conventional methods la member sabu nako e ka possible harmful men fo je wol setala par fenno me yalon ka be dino kono mol kambendal ka be dino kono le say mamira adama nyanna ka kopi nga simbal kan ke mutake samba kata ke soron ñun be kaso kono ila ke baabe tembo mento nantek say ngabina karna no sila e be kaso kono mol be sirin be tamkonde dina kunda be anin political kunda be bebe sirin be tamkonde manyi ko moñata nga fek adama baro la masakunda nyanna ka dande 2026 gambia ntol dina kundankol mo yalon ko e ka dino fasa ku dote ye fayte dino wala e sula e ka dino la fasa andu la dino nyin ay sula na ba ngamira bi adam baro la masakunda nyanna ka tara siri na ka karte fay wato nyin batu pour ga jiko kala masakunda ta ka bonde nyim fongo dam mamun nendi rolati gambia banko e anin na dino le mun kamala gambia de wol tol modina molati na banko mo jamabe kambe ndi nyanna ko sunnata mu farlolati molukan doluko amanke farloti doluko farlolo but in any case fenno be yalon ko nyumol men yalon ke be divergent view sotale be kambe tagina la ko mun ko yaani nyandi la dino kono ning ayata mun ka amanke farloti wote yaani nyandi la dino kono so ma mira mol men yalon ke ka wo practice wolu mu criminality banko kan but barola masakunda betenne jumale ya foko nunko ko one of the filthiest governments in Africa ye criminalol bula ibetama kam banko kan molu men yalon ko ye molu fa gambia dingo man fenkela ye fa ye bunkido la ye fa do beje ye lipa fa ye molde alman neman kafaro kele comme ko Ousmane Koro Cissé wol be nyame men yewol ke yewol bula banko ka wol betama kan mol men ye solo sandem fa wol betama kam gambia banko kan bi wol make criminality wol men yesolo sadde wol bude faya fa alman neman ka faro kala wol betama kam bi wol make criminality from different political angles even those media loco they are the strongest critics of the UDP ila family members were murdered by very people media loco bi betama kan gambia banko kan those people are free ibetama kan gambia banko kan wol fana make criminality wol fana manken criminality you will bulala will better when they are free in the country they can go anywhere they can travel outside the country but na traditional ngansimbalu many alon ko ka molla dino ka wala tamandi yawol muta yes samba mile 2 kaso kono jebe sonkandi nyame abe nyewunde nyame konka mo nyame yenye muske balu muta many alon ke be sanjita woro wala sanjita woro kono yawol muta yes samba o mile 2 prisino nyin kono yes simbi je be fala ifa wato mansi iba condition la le kan condition o me yalon ko ima deserve amanke fenti fotu babolu menu dabe masakunda ko ka foye ko nyimmu da fe yala ti ka folo ko mo ko da fe yala e ko da fe yala mo na dino la practice dol kam menke ngamello me yalon ko e ka dalilol men fonje je e ko da fe yala tubabol le dabe Adama Barrow la mansa kunda koto wala samu nyin ngansimbalu be sambala kaso kono le mailtu be keten la foye fenga nen tumo me yalon ko karte fayo bina sila yalo na be munakela aba fankela ko mun ko natele bala fasoto pour ay wolu bula ni wo mala salihina yaleti ali la moy den tol dina mol Gambian kolo ali la moy Mustas kundan kolo ali la moy Adama Barrow ay manya menkenante bi amanya naka motu siri ndol Mustas kundan kolo be Gambia demo be nalon ko man kambe nyin kuwala hanin da mal man kambe je hanin ba kafkle da mal man kambe je but one thing I know dino ye fengo fen ya aya dandi woman na culturality that is part of our culture. That is part of our culture. Ni nata na tuwa wala jama fongola. Ila adol bigi adol. Adol meni alonko ni ye fonto la ma fongola. Hakilo fongo muka atano puruka accept. Ininke wetara doku la kili. Inala kacha kono ako eko ifutu tale ka eko ha futu tale. Ya ninka ifutu tala ko hanim mon futu baraning kew besirin. Ni mari kumpada bagi safa ko idoko malon fo ka fo asafo ko hani nasungudolo wala nakambanolo ando wakewo ni poke fulol min yalon ke be sungudiya ni kambani yalla be sabatri nyoka ni lafta kata futu ibitala la kata futu o city ko nentene musodo be futu la jam be futu o city la nyamen anabita wala nyama masakunda bungoto ye futu o city ye anabita wala to church yela white wedding kije wala to any how they call it ya kije katwila adolum mo jama banko kan nimmo kemelom asekeno motan konon to be sonda walla woto womu adoleti wala sabu isonda ay ke luwati jam bare hannin teme yalon ko ndamantara wo daji ka sifa kono ngombe wo molu kajafila molu nyala menu fongol manke itoloti isa fanye ko isenke mo jaw badi wala yenke mo hakil sukri mbati kadum mansom ka kalanyen nako kenin ke se futu no le faykata ka futu city tema faykata batundur bongol to misal fe ndolla mansa kundati kerin tolla bankolu kan meya lonko ibe sonna nyinna bari mansa kunda fanante kerin tolla bankolu kan ben ya lonko imman taradiamu kan jamman sa kunda doli e kaita ni lako albeni menke kanten amanken taran siloti pour nyen kamala ko ya bondi ya bula ita pusla no nyinu kanko albeni menke kan amanya nakela nyin dalila karne nyin dalila karla mati foka je ko ke dadum wol ko doje pour wala masa kundali e balanka je ko ke ninke kana futu wala musni musu kana futu aw ñu la masa kundal beloring ila banko mo la nyanto ila banko mo la lafin na kuo memu banko mo la samati to la jeroto ya jeko wala muy to la nyantoti so they have institutions, they have governments many aloko are serving the purpose of the people, the interest of the people, the general interest, unlike ndola Gambia masakunda baruna la masakunda obviously being along control mutina mollet niena banko la setopo jibe keme wo keme mota woro wala motan sei ibebe la renyen nako sunna to tam fukulete me alon ko anyanna kela waliyo be damanto dronko ngafa nyame wala mu ko doluko farlolo mu dolko amanke farloti bati ning ayatara nun ko kulo me alon ko ya nyandi dino kono le woto sayin adaben na adol kono le nimme nuta kala very well manyanna ka mo forcer ka ko yake ba même fanan ba kele manya naka mo forcer ka foko mun ko niake betala kasolo kono ko nyi ngasimbalu e ko bide kan nyame yenya pingang ye bondila dimbalu koto ye la jamondo salol dang ye la wolha salol dang ye sika ye sambama e tufele be kiti okon ni be kiti dula don kaje la mul ka funti nyame dina mul katarage al mamul katarage desan sehol katarage morol katare feje barimbe nyinin karo kala menna alia lonne ko Adama Barrow la masakunda ni aje nyinga simbalu te bulala ibe sambala kiti olale bawo nyimolu men yalon ko menu kakkododi Adama la Mansakunda they have their offices. They have their yela timol sotol men yalon ko katara korosiro la Mansakunda kono na Gambia Mansakunda molu be yele men yalon ko yewol kile pour wole tara korosiro la ka jibe fo Mansakunda ibe nyala la mol kan men yalon ko ikanda dino balunde banko kam. In this case memo na sonno ti men yalon ko be sonno baraka fo Mansakunda ni mole sunno bara ito lafta la nyame ka je ko kaw molta ke sorong fo Mansakunda ba kala la fayta kala. So Adama la Mansakunda be do ko wala tibabo lalie menu yalon kay ka kodo dila pour ka je ko na ado nga fay wala mun ni sunno yindi ay dan Gambia banko kan say lafta le ngata ni momo yedi sunko ni soro ikane sunna yebula ke wonyama dino kan ya marmen na dino kan silandi man na dino kan damentol chodini ning data to mome yalon ko fo fudata wotembo nyinto nim masibo da albalana da ay bema wato wala sabu bila mu diam wato mol men yalon ka albederi Allah voice matters. You are experts in these things. Ale funding, ale silo kamuta, alta polisolia, ale pamito apply ka je ko nyinga simbalu ye bula. Mol men yalon ko Allah do ko mudino balundolati. Alma ala al joba. Bari do go fele abal bulo kono ala fele ay kulandal bulo kono kalje ka jibe ko Allah limane ya pour ka test. Ka test Mansakunda nyati ni mula Mansakunda me yalon ko eke fangulu kumandi dinamo la bari manke dinamoti eke fangulu kumandi kay beje Gambia la interest la bari mantrato la interest ka ebe mel la interest savka wala muy la masters te men yalon ko wala ka kododi la ka foye ko priye nyin sunnato ta nyin ya dam Gambia ni momo ya ke yeta kaso nyin kono ibaje la ko say nyin muske balu be nyin kaso men kono bidaka nyin kitio men de binaka Adama la Mansakunda ika report di nyin lal ko wo musol men yalon kay be o manyala men yalon ko nge bulandi kaso nyin kono be kitin la foka aje ko mon ko ay dam ginta barala nyim banko kanja wala mu munti wala musul na tati be men ke kan na Gambia bala fa wata ba abala fa wata ba ke ngan simbal be siring ye muta ye soro Adama Barrow la Mansakunda kono bebe siring bebe tankunde be jibe kam be nomba pin na jam dimbe yalon ko ilafta ko kol ke sa kol ke na jam alinga mamma nga Adama la Mansakunda bodi nyi banko ka Gustas kunda to talibe kunda ani mur kunda ali al kangolu fay alla karandingul kan ani alla karandil dular to ka je ko Adama Barrow la Mansakunda e dang nyin kamala ko Adama la Mansakunda mu Fred Leti Adama la Mansakunda mu e ka fanya dile senta no leti na dino e na banko kan Adama la Mansakunda mu senta no leti na dino la koto Gambia banko kan alal fongol nyininka molu men yalon ko wala le criminal ya damdula be ke Gambia banko kan mun ya sabu bi wolbeta makay bitaka moli dro kolo men simamu yisira famoti men kan na dindingol fondinkele be nyama moli yo container bondi na bandal ye samana Gambia banko kan idunda Gambia banko kan hani bi ko mankela ko na nga falba mo me ka foko e ko ye banka keda la arrest e stuff la e ko ye banka keda ye wala sentence banka keda be sire ngabe Gambia banko kan amanta hani jandi da be do ko wala Mansakunda kono na ko do mo mem moy banka keda ka men ko mandala be do ko wala Adama Barrow la Mansakunda kono mo mem moy. That is the allegation. So ye mo kiti de meya lonko among identify no mu meke mo malon jumale mu banka keda. No one can tell you who banka keda really is. All what we knew about banka keda Lamara is that there is a Gambian coming for banka keda. Allegedly, wale worship meno nyinka containers of drugs wale asamana Gambia banko nyinka. Allegedly, he flew to France. And that is the end of the story. Nobody know who is Banka Keda. Nobody can tell you where Banka Keda comes from. Nobody can tell you where he lives in the Gambia. Nobody can tell you his family lineage. Nobody can tell you his associations. Nobody can also tell you when was the last time Banka Keda visited the Gambia. Nobody can also give you the address banka keda be different in France, and this is the government involved. Remember, this is supposed to be one of the most serious crimes in the international scene. Wala sabong cases like this, banka keda in yumboro ni menkenante. It wouldn't look. We don't even need a rocket science to understand this. Banka keda in yumboro menke. This would have been the easiest thing to arrest banka keda, because Sirafengo of this magnitude, yawo muta, yawo intercept. You know the person. You know the nationality. You even have the so-called passport photocopy of that person. You also know what Marie live in France, which is under the European Union. Now, the only thing that the Gambia government needs to do, to contact the Interpols, ye intercontinental police operation wonyinta banka keta kama, wherever banka keta be sabatering damendo in France, it will be like before 24 hours. Nasiada before 3 days, banka keta should be arrested. If a banka keta arrest la, dunya balo na jumala banka keta. I can tell you that for free. This is one of the easiest things investigators, police, all may enjoy, because ika jeko munko mol menu ba koma ike enjoy le ni nyimanya siva ke bawo ite kata le ke fango dundu ku ke jalo lokono. And banka keda, I knew very well ko banka keda will not be that stupid. Ka jeko yala kova nyim bondile ay konte na sambana me yalo ka bebe farin sira fango la banka keda ma ku moteling Africa bango do fo aka ku moteling aka murun kata France. Banka keda will never try that, because niya muta wala yakidini wala France. Banka keda kapital la kaso kono faifa. Kapital la kaso kono le faifa. So banka ba kumutli na Africa banko dolleto. But look at, this is why it was all cooked up. So those are the real criminals, many alonko. They should have been locked up in Mile 2 prisons, and not those women, many alonko. They are at the age of 60, 70 years. Locking them up for practicing their religion. That is what Adama Barola Masakunda Menge. And the entire idea, Meya Sabung Nimunga Simbali Ye Mutapuruke Samba Mile 2, is because Iladonos Mol Menakakodo Dilam Adama Masakundala. Puruka Jeko Kanadino Takakele. So literally they are using ourselves. Purungam Fongola Ado Nyinta Nakele. Ngana adota ngake dafeng la dajiko, because ikana ning ados ni sunnatota ikasuti andi la komongo nin dafeng la adolum, dafeng la jikolum, dafeng la manyalum. This is how Westerners are describing this traditional and religious rites. Wallan to practice ngani menkenante. That is how they are describing it. Ko nga fa nyameng mo ye fa mo ta nyameng ikatara wala nyam nyaade bi Adama Barrow be hanila Gambia kanna dina mol muta amela keba jibeje, amela health condition jibeje ye modol muta wolning ate Adama Barrow bama be kanyan nano sanjola le bi ni man siati fon bari ase moluki yawol muta polisol yawol muta comfortable ya be siring ko mongo nim kum manke yawol samba ye sorom Mile 2 prison ko ne bege be Mile 2 prison ko no tumome ya lon ko wol sulata bile la ka je ko kalo ke nyatilin katara concentrating ka ala batum hada madiya miroto ibela dunya labango bogola kono sanjola karala saya manra mo bulo kono tonya. But na hadama ya miroto ni moda fa sanjita woro so sanjita woro bulo so kamuna miran na sondo mo kono ngafo banda mafo banda wolo nyenti ko nyino bela sangi la bangol ibela wati la bangol le kono dunia. So nka belief mesoro wolo that is a time meant for pure worshiping. Aninka tubo say alama mese kul men kitambulo kono kastaka fo rayo shiandi ka ala to finko. So yewol muta yesamba Mile 2 yesindika so kono Mile 2 yemira Mile 2 ko Mile 2 be nyame ka yefunye nyame tek e kadun jongo mo menna bo jonkon kilimo ke la wala to bo jonkon kilimo le kay kamuto ta fulo be ka bo jonko bo bun kilimo nyin nakano. So literally nyumusolu probably yesambada meto nyumuske balo e be sirin bun kilimo nyin men kono wo bun kilimo kono nin kamuto ta e muta kamuto ta sifa fulo be asekeno e ka sulo ke wo bun kilimo nyin nakano e ke la salo fana ke wo bun kilimo nyin nakano. But the mother of the president abasiri manka mankunda abasiri manka mankunda na sasa ye banko la kudota ya samba truki ya samba tuba budita jaraje aflangul meni alo ko wolbelo ren kaje ko yela balwo sacrifice ko be dino la baraka yawol muta ke samba mai tu president ko ne basiri nge ya munake e ko ye sunno la ke me yalon ko abedino la kono na kila nyima sallallahu alaihi wasallam e ko ayani nyandinya la pro yake dol fangol ko farlo la mati nyuni wala bara adama baro la masakunda ye mutake samba kate sende mai tu president nyen ko ndakam fongo nyen kamen nabi wala mun tolla dina kundalu be bambandi nyame na dina kundalu kato nyafa sa nyame fombe nyaka sila nyina la kaje ko adama baro nyin daji ko me ayake fombe nyaka sila la bang nyiyata wonyama nyimuske bali tara sorondi wonyama fo jandi lumena adama baro fongo la masa kundala fongo ba fala ko yam fatende ba yebulal besila la bango batumba anin fulan jango ye daji ka wo daji ka je nyaton ko ayake follow mu munati ka molu test ni wo botage ay wo daji ka sifa menke aka wo nyongola ke mensiata woti sinya nani. And I enjoy saying this immorality scale daji kan daya ning hada madimo ya dati ama stop janninga be dalila anakata nyato le bari ni adama la tari ko jibe yala history jibe the level of impunity adama barola masakunda kono adila desire ila confidence kamulla nyantotinya amantandula soto. So it is safe ka foko na dina kundankolo adam baro be sellal kanne bawo aseltal kanne already aya datile ka selen na muske balo kan ifele be mail tu ka sokono sai mune betu lage ya kuma dole pransu nu ya ko nyumbula wala mo nyenti ko pour ka al senso ka foko ibe nyina fala kutuboto ite nyum fala kutuboto abinala nanne alangata nimman bereken na kirola sainten 2026 ka adama la masakunda bondige alingata abe futala wo fananto le ka jeko ka sele sain ka almamul ta kal arrest kala talibul ta kal arrest hanne ma fali men bebe ke kam alla fannala albe yalonne dolde ni UDP la perspective la mo nyenti ni UDP masakunda la mo nyenti Gambia dingolu lafta kuwa menna kaje ko wala mutanyati na ado sonta menna ni molu jama ko ngatani wala wallahi njigita ko wala be tamala kaje ko wala ke Gambia la luwa kono ngatani wala mune asabu ni UDP masakunda le munum iba katala le bang ngata referendum mola nganyinin ka roke ngamolu nyinin ka bang niye ke bang fo akana ke ngalla moy Gambia di molla menu be sondingala isa foko ha menu mantara sondingala isa foko hani ning ibotanang banku be tamola wo referendum bo nyinna wallanto banko be diamuta isene yajibe banko mo jama ko nyaadi dum bako suka fo nyam banko mo jama banko Gambian ko la ato dum ko nyaadi ning ha wala siyata haniti woto bajela ko na banko mo lefta ngata yin silola andu masakunda katara banko leje then we must go by the will of the people. But amanya na kala nyenti ko banko molu jamabe la fere puru nyine ke adoti banko molu jamabe la fere ne puru ila kila ba sallallahu alaihi wasallam ay ado menyi nyandi ye puru ka je ko katara lorin wo ado nyin kam mo dolu kana dumala menu ka kodo diato la katol sponsor ka je ko wo ado nyin ay fa alla banko kan katum ika fali ko alla kila nyimma sallallahu alaihi wasallam ay nyin ado menyi nyandi womu hadamadin womu dafen daji kolati womu dafe yalati aliyala noko sayin to abdu jam aliyala noko sayin jam mafola. It's also normal, it's very very normal kaje ko mosaba fo musufula long ani kekili wallanto kefula musukili ibe tara kanola ibe ba sabateri bonkilen kono jumale nyabe mala yetan dolla bango kan Gambia ikonye ko nyimmu kuleti me yalon ko ali nyannale aliya dundi alla banko kan you see bari alenga kata bankol fele ba kata kam fele be kibaro so to kan jang kibar kandi kando Adama Barrow amalo memba nyato bari amalo nal Gambia di nying opportunity 2026 na yalu dang wallahi billahi atal watina afele mbaje jibe kanja Guinea Bissau la president akuwo man seneyanu membe kering akuwo nyinto Adama Barrow fulandi monyo anemelu tafauta kaje ko ka Gambia la carte fayo sunya 2021 makisala Guinea Bissau la president Omar imajele wol bela wato bitaka makisala bote jela atata abe exile Guinea Bissau la president I can tell you authoritatively ko ya coup d'état le andon afele afon ya confirm le ko ya coup d'état le sain amanke president di ya coup d'état le amal lafi fon ka telephone diamo fon jamfandi ka do nyen kamala ko ibina la telephone nyinta la kala telephone nyin busa abulo kono ani motina diamo la mo fon na la family lu at this point yawo privilege fon dia la praka diamo ani moli nyomoyno ala family misal fi or the close ones bari akoning ameta diamo le be telephone fon la bulo kono from France 24 he was just speaking with the France 24 dunia Kilisabalam, kunong, bi, anin sama. Adama Barrow inyan na imira labari. Adol menbe Adama Barrow bala. Alinga nganyo makoy. Janning kube na la miyalong kabe manto rala. Alinga sombang ko Adama bangke bangko sambalati. Nga bangkota nga di mo kendol la yin na bangko sambe. Akana kenyanti ko. Nga tara selfishness kang Adama Barrow no kang ngalong ko ate kukeno la bangko but yet still we are adamant in pushing Adama onto the people at our own detriment. Bela bata, bebe bataka. Banko jibe abe alhalo mento, bele be bataka. Saying amandam only politically la, but even traditionally, culturally, religious-wise, Adama Barrow la Mansakunda is ascending on people kaje komunku to suppress people's rights purungan na cultural obligation ulta purunye perform banko nyimfanka kabrin afutata wotembodo almame kunda nya nakawulile na alfa kunda benya nakawuline talibe kunda benya nakawule aliyala molukan na Adama Barrow la Mansakunda bondin ko banku ning atata duta banko molu ikajibele munemu banko la nafati ko munemu na banko la ado la nafati munemu banko mo la nafati mumbata lebe ke kan banko kan we wait these things na decision on you make we come collectively kaje ko kamansa kundata ka bonding ate bondije janning abinal yaje la kuwo ku na letita abamu ka koleyale abamu akakoleyale kolea nata rafa dunta banko kan dunyala abango akakoleyale Adama la mansa kunda sifa memo ikamenu foko the incompetent government, the corrupt governments. Ning voltata fo yesulo dum to certain point pour que bondi aka colère. A bondi watu niyo katinyaje hanni ye yakatal fango molu fatige fonni yol botage ni ye bondi fango pour ka banko deda. It's always hard. It takes so many decades kaje ko mungo pour ka banko nyinta kateda. That is why ya jambela rule ajibe the backwardation ay Gambia cost menna retraction from development that it has cost the Gambia. That is why if you compare Gambia with a lot of African countries, you can clearly figure out that huge gap between Gambia and those African nations. The reason is simple. We had a president, Meya Longo, overstayed in power, claimed ownership of everything, both living and non-living in the Gambia, but couldn't use those things for the benefits of the general population. While every other country will be able to move, developing their institutions, putting in laws that will strengthen their democracy, bringing in policies, many along they will foster rapid developments in Labanko Nyenka at a time. At that equivalent time, Ntola Gambia, the government we had at a time was busy murdering, killing people in the name of I own the Gambia. Now ask yourself why Adama Barola Mansakunda, there is a need Kaje Komonko. We take an immediate action to remove Adama Barola Mansakunda. Look at Adama Barola's surrounding. It will give you a hint and the need for that urgent removal of Adama Barrow. About it la back. Na banko la kuo na situation nde akambalo fa back tumando ne gambira. Ani kuya watra ay balafasi. Ni kuya watra bagale ay balafasi. Ni mira banko bita ka nyame bi. Iko ngam president soto me alonko in the name of Adama Barrow. At least I can call him our president. At least. But that's what we have. So tole la responsibility mo Gambia de ngol. Alinga kata nanana ngalonyo koma. Adama la Mansakunda ngabondi. Nimambaro la Mansakunda bondi. I see no hope for the Gambia. Nimala Mansakunda bondi. There is no hope for our country. We either come collectively, remove Adama Barola Mansakunda, after which we are all going to benefit. Or Adama Barola Mansakunda ta momo ye kunkilen kuo jibeye and let the Gambia fail. And I don't want to believe there is any single Gambian, at least not that I know of. Meya lonko a jaratai walanto abelafring in napuru banko nying ay boy. At least in one way or the other. Be belafring in napuru banko nying ay ta. But nil left apuru banko nying ay ta. It's important komongo we become realistic to ourselves. We have to be realistic to ourselves. We figure out, monese possible no, monete possible no. The possibilities may ya sabunko. If we change the leadership, the country is going to develop. We have a very high probability Gambia. In fact, this is not a probability. This is something for certain. Ko Adama Barola Mansakunda is the obstacle member Gambia batanding kang memba sabung kang Gambia di ul mantala real development o jekang. I laughed. Ni Adama Mansakunda the things that they celebrate. Ikakuan men celebrate ko those are the achievements ko yemeluke Gambia. Those are lovable things. Those are things many alonko a conscious nation in a conscious government. In a conscious democracy, Masakunda manyan na kawo fong bulo bondi wala kafoko kawolelta kawolel celebrate as their achievement. Tenor roads. Sila kensam may alonko third class road la fong amagi hani second class fongoti wala sabong niye silol nyende da after 2, 3, 4, 5 years ikaje silol bekati nya kew mune ya sabong because even wo process o nyinko no kasilo de da ika kodomenta Gambia dimul to yala ka donto ni ye billion tande donto Gambia dimul to yala pour kasilo de da ikaje ko nyi silo men kabo sankandi men kata fo kiyang konoto joli ikaje ko nyi silo makodo men donto both domestic and external borrowing ikaje ko $10 billion islam wala nya nakasilo nyi deda iba kodo nyi tala ya be kundun nyotema ibe mendundi la wasilo nyen kunna membe silo nyen dedala ate tambila million nano la nyen kodo nyen ala 80% o nyen ya betia nyotema so ibina silo la tala ka pages danko rek ikamon fo ko munika fanya dile ko renda nyinya fo ko jira nyinya ko jira nyinya Gambia, this is what is happening Adama Barola Mansakunda kono. This is what is happening in our institutions. When I heard Ibrahim Masilla Kaka Young's double attack, these people has no shame. Ibrahim Masilla, people like Itolo, they have no shame at all. Imam Horomosodo, Imam Bunyasado, Gambia Dimoli, and Gambia Fuaroli. But if these people cannot even respect the very positions, Ibe Gambia Dimol Toyala, Ela Palasol Menoto. They cannot even handle those positions. They cannot execute any function independently. Kaje komonko Gambia dimul belafila la jame walanto meya lonko is transparent. There is no point not to expect statements like that from Ibrahim Silla and the others. He went to Peter Gomez, West Coast region. He lied about a kilometer of that third road. Ikasilomen construct. Nembi ako kilometer $20,000 lamo. Sama ya for $70,000. You know, when you are, prone to lying consistently, imuka remember no ila lying patterns from imuka remember no. Nita da foye kuma kensem foke ila dajing koti. Kukilimu ika kuma kemesore kamimfai. Ikatale to the point that imuka ikanyina lefango. And that's exactly what happened to Ibrahim Silla when he went to the West Coast region, Kajeko, to explain some of the road projects many alonko. They claim Masakunda, Yakodomen Spenipuna. The kilometer of the road, Ibrahim Silla Kafigo so Memfuji, Peter Gomez la radio. When he go to the iAfrica TV, he's going to say a very different figure. And thanks to Dr. Mane and Ilare Sisi, Kajekomungu, to continually exposing these criminals, many alonko, they are in the shoot in our ministerial positions. Fundigel many alonko, they don't believe in anything. Without this government job, their lives are going to be wretched like before Ibinala ni political nyinkoro. Ibrahim Masilla hani bari mun ko la majam ko samusa hani majam ko samusa wala competent ati jalon de basu ko wala ongul suku signare ando fo jaray la ongul jaray excuse me for using your ongul yalla bari mun ko lidol yamo kawa ko la siya ko la so nibe Gambia la politician or full politician kawa ko iketo la fa political party will be talanyo tiamal bakso bejana suku bejana ni maja ko but maja ko say wo botal maja ko bote ko majango bote kono majango sai majango kama ke baroti ko ya jamfa. But folks, it's very sad. The situation is very sad. It's pathetic. The situation of Gambia memang is very, very, very sad. Alenga wuli nga kuken na kidola. Gambia funding kelu, adina kundatu, atalibe kundatu, amuru kundatu. Ntolmo muru kundan kolle. Oh, but included be alenga kata. Adama la masa kunda bondi. Adama la masa kunda fo alkala bang fo almukala ni molia fai. Ning Adama ganye da 2026 billahi ning alime ku almamo nin talibolu anin na dina kumolu men ya lonko albida kaso kono nyinga malako Adama baro la masa kunda be kupo men kala kan alma alem be tankala. But it's going to be easy. Imagine la saying Guinea Bissau fananda but total fonko nyin kono vote fonko nyin kono yale data Guinea Bissau le registration okije wotumo yabra no fo umar from bolo siso ko lomba kabitula jira kabatar lagi presta yala so nin kadre fay wasida yata no kan ya kumandina ya mol menu register Guinea Bissau ay be dila nan afango ye mako ne ke boso ko ne sabana en bibin ko betara sirin gambiale ndol ba mi nan ko fende caring so Omar Guinea Bissau la president Omar Sissoko abe multa la ay ñu la mobilisation wata ay ake ye boso ko ay kina Gambia na wal sojaro len tankandu wala le Guinea Bissau sojaro len tankandu wala le atabe damando bi Omar be damando ke mira menna ay tinyaro menke ay para kurungol menuke ay molu menu ya lonko allegedly ay false coup d'etat le kam ke solong fay fale bang allegedly so say bi ko betale miraka wala general la liye wota wol bang Guinea Bissau general din kendol wala li okay na bro dale mag jane ngay nako sinolo ambassador ambassador na jang you are needed here as long as kunjaro is needed you know Guinea Bissau Guinea Bissau mol wakande Senegal did it Senegal yakele Macky Sall bondi ha because I'm jigging in Senegal 2021 you know ay 100,000 wasile me ya loke ya bondi na Senegal le moda 100,000 votes ya bondi na Senegal ke sama na Gambia ya Guinea Bissau ha domandi ha jote ya membe nyimolla Guinea Bissau sa general lo bodani brigadier general ning mereka punya do nyari lieutenant lo ha lieutenant ni general ning brigadier general ning do mo refodi konelo mo ya jama mo natino adon dile ya jama mo natino ya jama janaka bo masala mo natino ale ma ko ya la tayt lo ba ya jama mo natino janaka bo masala mal fo commando lo ba wala be Guinea Bissau so MPP moto ni o de rek abanta because alning Omar Mbalo albe mu di same cample so ni MPP moto de Guinea Bissau rek abanta ha you know ni alla moto de Guinea Bissau rek abanta NPP modolo criss cross na Guinea Bissau le 2021 kadre fayo bilay na Gambia NPP modolo ka criss cross in Guinea Bissau le sana ma jawol ko bina wol fala borola sana ma jawol wolbe mabo nyim men kono wol ni NPP motoje wol ga fale kan dulen mo kan atara wol be la kadre sunyal wol ngay sana wol ka bor ka su kono le fala boy makalo you know ya mo la karto betinya with the help of these two people Macky Sall and Omar but dunia man kitiri kilenti wala sab nebe lungo ko ne kemira probably these people allegedly ni me dake no Gambia lo katre fayo to kam ka Adam Barrow ma koy Gambia bebo Adama Barrow to but itati ya ma koy more than 300,000 votes ya ma koy mendo ka samanan kala mulla katre ke soka Gambia ni make it over Adama Barrow was less than 100,000 or 150,000 Gambian voters me ye katre di Adama Barrow. Ask yourself, mene asabu nabe dia muha katara kamfari ni kamera no kafenko atale alo membe kere adama ni mo kili men ka crossing dandeng ani wolal kata mo ka lafa kan dameto do manike wala mo bolon ko no ma fangoti wol fanan sai wol fanan fangol be bo kan atole bi mul batata le way mul batata le mani bo to ka wili yalla balin dina sai wili saba aka wala wali mul batata le mbadi Nika man bodo fla de mola suwa kono kite kuta malala. Nika man bodo sabar de mola man bodo fla de mola suwa kono. Ita mari de kuta malala. Nen dindi wul sasata. Pwede samba traditional jarano la ibe samba la muntol to kodek. Ibe te ko dojo la loptano te ko do fon la muntol. But even yo ko dojo be boro sanne nyati le. Because literally in the loptano volkatali blola dindi wul bala loptano beje. Like Polasabo, it was very shameful. These people they went to Brikama. They couldn't tell anything tangible to the people of Brikama after all the failed promises that they've made to the people of Brikama. The only thing that they could stood in Brikama to tell those people, Bolamu to personally attack people, many years ago, they have been delivering for the people of West Coast beyond expectation. Because when you ask me, you ask anybody, even some of the most, biggest critics of Kiaman Yankuba Dabo, they will tell you, Yankuba Dabo has shaped the role of a chairman in West Coast region. What he achieved, 2 years ago, even the longest serving chairman in West Coast region, Ima achieved. And we know clearly, there were people, West Coast, they've served West Coast chairman for more than 10 years or for 10 years. Now do that calculation. Ni yang kubai 5 years ke West Coast la chairman yala, or let's say 10 years as a chairman of West Coast region. You can only imagine the level of achievement and how high he's going to raise the bar for any incoming chairman, maybe Nala Brikama Area Council. And that is a plus for every Gambian. Because now everybody wants to make sure where Yankuba stops. You're going to make sure, you go above that. And wherever Yankuba fails, you make sure you succeed in those areas. That is the benefit of having good leaders. This is the benefit of having leaders many alonko ye focus soro ye nyalo doku kang mol ye ke doku menage. But look at Adama Barrow man sakunda. No wonder hani karoni la kitab ani jumal form manajumala mo badi bunkola wo mendara mi kala kodda ko mo ka fay nyadi la ale ma koy wo badi bunko me political party o jula ata la rally ke la kodda ko. No wonder will be left at the president because there is no bar. Adama president yata la ayalundi abe mulumaka fongola. There is no status. There's no status. Mobeya understand he is only there to steal. So if it was or it is that easy, somebody who is as incompetent as Adama Barrow can steal our phones. With the support of people, many alonko are ready to die for him. Where wouldn't they also try? And people, many alonko, the saddest thing is in Barola administration, when people who are found guilty of committing a capital crimes against the states, against the Gambia, those are the most celebrated people within Barola administration. I will give you one example. The case of Usainu Bojang. Usainu Bojang is innocent. As things stands, the state has absolutely no evidence against Usainu Bojang. But they went further. Adama Barrow himself went further, connived with Mama Jabi, inserted his hand in our state coffers. $1 million sotaji because remember, Adama Barrow promised he personally was going to pay anybody may information about the arrest of Usainu Bojang. So when Mama Jabi came, Mama Jabi yafo komonko ate Usainu Jabi bejane, Usainu Bojang bejane, for Usainu Bojang ya arrest. Adama Barrow promised he was going to give $1 million to anybody who will give them an information which will lead them to arrest Usainu Bojang. Among kodo banda fong la jifo kono ngalio jale aliya auditor la report le. You have seen that in the auditor's report. Barrow is a confirmed criminal. Aliaje auditor la report otole. He went, I upload to Gambia la kodo kono, I kodo bondike $1 million and he handed it over to Mama Jabi. Now the state has no evidence against Usainu Bojang. Absolutely no single evidence. All the so-called evidences that they claim to have against Usainu Bojang found to be lies. Wala mo sabatoti, iko sabato yementa, sabato nying ufongo iko, hani Usainu Bojang doko ma wasabato te kanyan nala. Usainu Bojang yara nyame aliaja la han mo mafala ya simu bakala nyama, bakala kontul simu nyame. So wasamato hani Usainu doko ma sabanjaw, wasabato te kanyan nala, which is a lie. Ikoye kidomentaraje that never existed. There was no fingerprinting. There was no forensic evidence, because the only forensic evidence that these people claim to have against Usainu Bojang, walamu kido nyenti. But so stupidly for them, idara kido memuta ya bondi la amori konoko, that was the claim gone yementa Usainu Blokono. Now, when the autopsy report came, we found out that kidikiso membota nyunu kono, anito ye kido mem from sambanang, well man can clearly that gun wouldn't have fired that bullet. Impossible. Yalom forensic go for 99.99% unlikely that this gun, that bullet or this bullet was fired by that gun. 99.999%. Well, let's have 100 million on percentage or percent unlikely that that bullet or those bullets were fired by the said gun. So, if the forensic expert or whatever, he will only come out and give them a forensic findings. Number one, Samato yemen for food part. So Usainu bidale yala food cast nyenta. Yeta measure with the size of what Samato nyi. Ama jara fa maya samu ndi Samato kono. Size mu ndi no yelfa. But they will all what they need. Wala mu Usainu yala food cast nyenta. Then they know the size Usainu kamendo. They compare that one with what Samato mu size nya dileti. Barola Masakunda has disgraced the Gambia. They went ahead, allegedly murdered these young police officers in the name of Purukajiko Kayudi Pito Tinya. Another about fire taken. That is why when the incident happened, they rushed, they went over, they ran to the television, story radios, Kafukomunko, UDP Lamu, Tendintanam. Where Tara Molia in Telsor Lokomongo, this is what happened. So this is what the forensic scientists will say. 900 million% unlikely that Usainu Bojang would be the owner of that shoe. Where is 1 million% unlikely that Usainu Bojang would be the owner of that shoe. Or could have worn that shoe. Nina kidola kesoto. Kidikaso nyento. Yeah. Ita ko Usainu Bojang ye kido menta ay ñu lu men. Ye kidikaso mem bondi ñu frère balokon. Kido ñing altare mem bondi nang alko bem mu Usainu Bojang na kido. E ko wo kido keso ñing ate possible la no ka foko ñing kido le wo keso fay. Ite fankala no abela ko rounders ning fanko be ñamen. FIFA standard football be ñamen. Kido be dan ten. So say itako rounders muna wonim FIFA standard mulka football ka men na FIFA standard wol be kala no size clinti nyaadi la. It's exactly this. So itolko rounders quota rake FIFA standard katola size ojit. How do you explain that? How do you reconcile that? Even the shares wouldn't be able to help them. Hani moro hani na moro backhouse onde ñun mako eno la ñinki dieto. So Mama Jabi, no wonder I have found the Adama barrow la nenteng wala sabu ka funding ka alfal neng ka usen dabo neng because ikamna fo Mama ayalo ne kay bandiya menge so ni ki diora ra fo yaje ko every single thing Mama ay mem fo abemo allegation olati Mama should be locked up. So abe borka wala imagine I found the Adam barrow la be mol banna abelo ko badi bunkol la tolo e mengi anala tolo ya nyawle ne nyam lambala sawo anala tolo ya nyawle ne kabiri kabra Gambia dok malum fo dok wocha solo fo bad wocha solo bra wala ko do bero bri lambara fana yo ko do bero mo wo fu ndira kibaro to dani wasal no be banda lambara hani adam baro to hani badi bulam hani alma wala nay adam baro to lambara ka fu la ka bane Gambia dum kala wande so baro bolo nyama mo li aje wala nyama you know you mo li aje wala nyama ala barka bake ngal tentu wage ngal jay tol jibel la comrade jera fadira barka bake sabi wonk lamin camara musa trawale la barka bake ngal beten ngal beja bakari bajo onkul te mun onkul la barka bake ngal tentu wage ngal jay al beje o mosi sise ala barka seku davo lalo kinte ibrahima makalo omar diallo barka bake ala barka bake lamin sora la barka Mustafa Ndey Sise, thank you. La barka Aus Joe barka bake, brother Sam J, thank you. La barka, thank you all. Kadi Sane Sweden, barka bake kadi Lala Kanye, barka bake, la barka, la Bea barka bake, I'll tend to bake, I'll J. Thank you all. La barka. So nyina muko nyenti da banko bitaka nyamen, definitely it's very sad. Jawara Seku Baji barka bake. Lamin dawo barka. It's very sad, folks. It's very, very sad. But I'll not tend to diamun namolia. I'll not tend to diamun namolia, you know. Lamindi Almani, Barkabakala. I'll not tend to diamun namolia, you know. 2026 must be a decisive moment for the Gambia. Enough is enough. All the countries are doing it. So saying the road is clear, Kaji Komunko, Nanakasi Kisojing Tankano. Many along Kalbe border villages. Many alonko albe dulal to border villages like Badibusal Kenya Mafongola, Krafontola, LR Mafongola. These are places many alonko border sol LPJ. Let's be ready to guard the borders. Kajako Mongo, Momo Yalonko emang qualify Pruka Katrify, Kana Dundam Pruka Katrify. I know they are going to try it. Now that Yalonko Mongo, all hopes are lost in Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau, what a bandale, Bao Walla Bombini dictator, Wofanam Botagele. So generally often depose le often botagele sai often tatale sai water murla correct general loli bondi so what general ni wo brigadier ni wo munika nyali fo corporal lomba ani sajinolo ani brigadier general mun lanto mon tambo mo munatino is it brigadier general okay lanto mo general tino so what general wala wo bondi wala sire na sai so be damen to woke miracle wala so jene bisao we can say ko ila registration o men ko to ka jine bisa dingol register o joy moto we will make sure ko mongo what kana possible no and there is likelihood that ko possible la no senegal la mu senegal ta possible la so saying to lel bakata la mo danta wol men binala mo kana dun nam bodal to nga make sure ko mo yalon ko man qualify let them not vote men man qualify they don't vote we have to decide 2021 election, Adama Barrow, you more registered about 200,000 people. Nko moment ngamo cut off Gambia is less than 150,000 Gambians. Make cut off Gambia. It's less than 150,000 Gambians. The rest of the votes, yeah, be bonding outside. They registered people outside. Makisala assisted Adama Barrow. Omar Susoho, yani membondi, Umar Mbalo Susoho, assisted Adama Barrow Kajeko Munko to send him lots of bosses, people, many alonko. They came well before the election. Government spend our taxes to be feeding and hosting these people and be paying them their bribery. The same thing applies to more many but than Senegal. They came to the Gambia well before the election. They were hosted in the Gambia. The government of the Gambia spent our taxpayers' money on those people for and they paid them handsomely. They went home. This is the allegation. So 2021, less than 150,000 people voted for Adama Barrow. So Guinea-Bissau meaning nobody will be able to come from Guinea-Bissau. We're going to make sure that doesn't happen. Senegal too, we make sure that doesn't happen. Where else? Where else? Where else? So let's stand firm. Kajeko Munko, Ngalo, Alinga Namul Diamondi. Alinga diamu na bodal bedamento mobe tara on high alert. They are ready to do everything possible Kajeko Munko to retain Adama Barrow in power forcefully. by even going against the constitution, which states come and go, elections must be free and fair. But you see the intimidation tactics that they are coming up with now, forcing alcalos kajeko, let alcalo lieta kajeko ka attestation di molu bela. Yagele ka fanyame molu be. But lunta wal men be Gambia. Wali alon nako, ibe save la UDP masakunda le katambi masakunda bela. Lunta wali ya faham leko, Gambia kono, ibe save la UDP masakunda le kono katambi masakunda bela. Ye membe fo lunta wali 2021, lunta wali alon nako abemo kumakensa waleti. Ngoy fangol fondita la kabri yo kuma kuntangol fo luntangol ye idol fangol fondita na after 2021 ye senita le nyatli wala alfa kumbandi wala liya mo le fondita ko itoli yo fo la don pour ya carte o soto wol bloko no kawol selandi. This is what Dembo Bay for said. Dembo bojang ayina fo I have fatale tole I have already ton kalbe ya moyle ko itoli yo kuma ko fo ka fo luntangol ye ko ni nyi windi bala mo nen itoli yo fo la pour ka luntangol selandi bay itoli yalla no ko den to nyaati usenu manka o moti usenu musali hino lati. So say luntangol yalon ne ko ñunumu kurungol lelti ñunumu masakunda criminal lelti. So luntangol yalon ne ko they are not going to fall for that cheap propaganda again. Then Gambia betiada under the leadership of Alaji Usenu Numkunda Dabo, Momo Hanin Gamin for Luntangol. Ibera by enjoy la kodo be betiala economy be betiala. Ni Luntangol ka $25 isika wala kila bankol can bring Adam Barola Masakunda food mo beje. Ni Alaji Usenu nada. Wal Luntang kilimulu. Wal say 50,000 kin wala moliande. Abel control bejan damel to be bankol men kam bankola economy be der nyame. Kodo sembo so nyame. Ha. Let's say near $150 euros key. I la family domoro beke no for that month. But ni euro tarafa food. Let's say maybe nika 150 euro laki pruke la family ni balun no I see from bela. Probably as again maybe 400 euro laki. So muka can draw na profit ja. We want to make sure kumongo living condition domoro daisonia from bed daisonia transports and everything kela bills all bed daisonia. So nila bills all bed daisonia Ninkaro fata ye ibe ko do men spend na jangata fensila the rest of the money ya de kis wokan ida ite la family la ko do wala to whatever you are into. So the same to no ninga be sonia alaji usenu nata ye nga economy ta nga deda nga bankola baluta nga soneyandi. We make basic things affordable for every Gambian, including non-Gambians. Many of them they are residing in the Gambia. Wolfanam na fankola kalafa because nika let's say nika 10,000 spend Gambia because of Adama Barola Masakundala Banko Kole and Dojin Kamala Pruka Jeko ye baluno Gambia nila dimbayalo. Say nidol ka 15,000 na so which means ika 5,000 da malakino kadila bankol kam pru ibe project melela bankol kam. But ne masakunda kendo nada. Probably ka 10,000 may spend Gambia because of Balula Kole and Kamala. Ne masakunda kendo nada if do okay as again they will end up spending only $5,000. Then now they will be able to send $10,000 to their various countries. It's just common sense and no side don't let you understand. Don't be alone noko. Don't be alone noko. Nying Barola Masakunda is just a useless government. It's just a directionless government. They have no direction, no plan for the Gambian people. So wala samu, the only thing they can resort to wala mo divide and rule tactics. Italola no yafa yeko na yine kaliye jam. Go, more many alongo since 2016. A promise that Adama Barrow made. And this is one of the most important promises. Gambia dimul belafila me yeke banko nyenkam. But this promise was made since 2016. Koninga nata, mano da abagin dilale to $600. Now let's just be fair to Adama Barrow. Let us just be fair to Adama. Let's say maybe reducing the price of a bag of rice to 600 is unrealistic. Let's give him that fair treatment. But how about to $1,000? How about to $1,000? At least $1,000, at least. But B, Adama Barrow would not stand anywhere to tell you people ko mano da 1,000. In fact, ning abe meeting la molia mano da kumbo. Nana ta address ola ka ojo ngoto walaile because I alone ko 2016 he promised to the Gambian people and he failed that promise brutally. Adama knew this. bake. Anyway, Guinea-Bissau be there na. Yes. Guinea-Bissau le bijere. Ya Omar Bondile. Yeah, Omar Bondile. So let me see. Let me confirm. Let me confirm the new reports. So this is so this is Omar Mbalo speaking. This is Omar Mbalo from Olivediam Kantenga. I have been deposed. Guinea-Bissau's President Mbalo confirmed to France 24. Guinea-Bissau's President Omaro Susoho Mbalo confirmed he was deposed in an exclusive phone call with France 24. He said, I have been deposed, Mbalo said, adding that he could not talk further without risking his phone being confiscated. Mbalo, now removed from the office, said he was currently at the General Staff Headquarters. Aka kudeta la women lo kan kafo ko wala lafta ka kudeta ning tu mame yalo ko kan refe on kana siya ka on men sorom ke samba General la Headquarters soto. De bi a farambera la General la Headquarters lo. Ka jira fo yawmin bi yawmin. Yawmin bi yawmin. Mara ko mo ber ni mo pere wolo. Yawmin bi yawmin wala mo lunna ka lunjo ha. Siko la lemma ko yawmin bi yawmin wala mo lunna ka lunjo. Ha. Lunna ka lunjo. Almam babil fana moy. Mina lentina no passport mam pare sa entina. Arambaro na masakunda bol fala de wala kabra nyin November nafo. Babil ko abina November camera ni kacholu bula. Babil manyana ke de diamola because imagine bring Babil de diamola. Nyimolo they had the audacity to go to Brigama Area Council and spew rubbish to the voters. Dim Babil made no. If Babil la campaign la kabrim basi fo nak banjo. Hani mo killing ko tato moylela. Babil ka bi dale airport of the security la. Guy airport of the security la fe fam ka lo mo kene. Just because Babil ka binala. You know. Just because Babil ka binala. Babil fana mo problem molti. Yalla mo le nyum fole. Ko ku ni bala. Mana daga man foko motate balla no kana Gambia. Nobody owns the Gambia. He prevented people from coming to the Gambia, even at death. Hani Freolo. He prevented those bona fide Gambians, patriotic Gambians, many along a fighter bandalana, simply because they shared a different opinion with his government at a time. He prevented those people to come to the Gambia, free from a body Gambia. That was very unfair. But today he's also in the same situation. Now my audio ko momo yemenge alake jo wala. Go for Bible sometimes malong. I'm going to na be diamaka. But that's by the way. Let's forget about Babel. We have a bigger problem than Babel. Babel say maka mo wogay ning audio for dala mo ala mo yejela, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, ndaga jelo ko mo comedy lo. But we have a bigger problem. Wala mo Adama Barrow ning ala man sekundati. And my cousins, no cousin or name brother follow, but Adama Barrow ning ala man sekunda for now. Those are the bigger problem. Those are our biggest problem. That is the biggest threat to Gambia future. Gambia sama. Adama Barrow la man sekunda. Wale mai masi boning albalati. Barola masakunda mu albalalati, barola masakunda mu masibolati, pour Gambia la sama, Gambia la tanyato. Gambia titano nyato, ni adama la masakunda besiri. Gambia banko titano nyato. Kula mtu nyato. Allah baraka bake, media morning, bada na janato. Ngali betentu, ngali bejai. Minala le wati ni nga wato suro, wato mena puka na kakacha, kakuoli yale. Lamin konati baraka bake, lamin di mani ala baraka bake. Thank you all. Al betentu ngal bejai bake for ni munta nanja wati kotena inshallah. Ala baraka bake alma tilo todiala, alma sutu todiala, alma fanonyi make la mini alon kebe suto kono. Ala baraka. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.